On the 5th of May, every adult in the UK will get the chance to vote either yes or no on whether to change the voting system in the country. There's a lot of people talking about it, but there's a lot of confusion as well, and so I wanted to make a quick video about which voting system is fairer. There's the old system, where everybody gets one vote and they can vote for just one person. At the end they count them all up and the person with the most votes gets elected. Or there's the new system, where everybody still gets one vote, but they get a ballot form where they can put a number next to each person. This person has voted for Batman, but by putting a number 2 next to Robin, they're expressing their preference to say, if Batman has no chance of getting elected, I'd like my vote to be transferred to Robin. And then after that, because I've put number 3 next to Joker, they're saying if Batman and Robin both have no chance of getting elected, then I'd like my vote instead to count for Joker, because I prefer him to Penguin. You don't have to do that. You can just say, just put a number 1 next to Batman and say, essentially you're kind of saying, if Batman doesn't get elected, I don't care who else gets elected, it doesn't matter to me. Ultimately, there are 3 ways in which the new system is fairer, which I'll show you in a second, and there are exactly no ways in which the old system is fairer. So, how is the new way fairer? This is the first way. Imagine an election where 100 people vote. Everybody's got a choice of voting for either Batman, Robin, or Penguin, one of Batman's evil enemies. Now, it's quite a bad area, so 35 people go out and vote for Penguin because they hate Batman and Robin because they're too goody-goody. Now, the other 65 people don't want the Penguin to win. They want either Batman or Robin, but they're kind of torn between. Most of them vote for Batman, but then still quite a lot still vote for Robin as well. So, as you can see, 34 people vote for Batman, 31 for Robin, and 35 for Penguin. Under the old system, Penguin gets elected, even though that's not what actually the majority of people wanted. The majority of people wanted anybody but Penguin. Under the new AV system, Robin, because he got the least number of votes, he gets eliminated from the election, so he's not in the running anymore. The people who voted for Robin, their votes now get transferred to their second choice. Now, of the 31 people that voted first choice for Robin, all of them, apart from Batman's ex-girlfriend, decided to vote for Batman as their second choice. So that gives Batman an extra 30 votes, which gives him a total of 64. Now, unfortunately, Batman's ex-girlfriend doesn't really like him that much, so she voted for Penguin as her second choice. So one of those votes then gets transferred to Penguin, giving Penguin a total of 36. So as you can see, under the new system, then because Batman has more than half of the votes, he gets elected. Under the new system, what the majority of people want is always better represented in the outcome of the election. This is the second way in which the new system is fairer. Now, imagine another different scenario where 100 people vote. You can vote for either Batman, Wonder Woman, or Penguin. Now, last election, under the old system, everyone knows that the Batman won, because he got 40 votes out of the 100, Wonder Woman got 22, and Penguin got 38. Since the last election, a lot of people have been thinking that Batman's getting a bit too big for his boots, and there's a lot more women moved into the area as well, and they all kind of prefer Wonder Woman, and really what they want to do is vote for Wonder Woman, but they're too scared because they're worried that if 10 people vote for Wonder Woman instead of Batman, then that means that Batman would have 30 votes, Wonder Woman would have 32, which means that Penguin would get elected. So because people really want Wonder Woman to win, but because they're too scared that that'll mean that the Penguin gets elected, they actually carry on voting for Batman, because he's alright, he's nowhere near as bad as the Penguin, but he's not really what they really want. So under the old system, people vote tactically, because that's kind of what works out best for them. Under the new system, they can actually say, well actually I prefer Wonder Woman to win, and I'll give her my number 1 preference. But if she has no chance of getting elected, then I want my vote to count for Batman instead, and give him the number 2 preference. So under the new system, it's always best to actually just vote for who you want, rather than having to think about and worry about voting tactically. This is the third way that is fairer. Now, again, imagine another election where there's 100 people that vote. Before the election, everybody knows that there's Batman, Robin and Penguin going to be standing for election. Now the Penguin knows that he can either bribe or scare 28 people into voting for him. Now he knows that that still leaves 72 other people. So even if like half of them vote for Batman and half of them vote for Robin, then he's not going to have enough votes to win under the current system. So he decides to cheat. He speaks to the Joker, another of Batman's evil enemies, and he persuades the Joker to pretend to be Wonder Woman and also stand in the election. There's the Joker dressed as Wonder Woman. He's quite good at that. What this means is that then when people vote, some of the people don't realise that it's actually the Joker dressed up as Wonder Woman. They actually think it's Wonder Woman. So she gets 19 votes. Now, it's not enough to get elected. Even the Penguin gets more than Wonder Woman. But it then means that the number of votes that Batman and Robin get is less than the number of votes that the Penguin got. So actually, again, whilst nobody actually wanted, well, not many people actually wanted the Penguin to win, under the old system he manages to cheat his way into winning. Under the new system, what would happen here is that because nobody's got more than half of the votes, Wonder Woman, or actually the Joker, is then eliminated. The 19 people that put the Joker down as their first preference, their votes now get transferred to their second preference. 10 of the 19 people chose their second preference to be Batman, so that get transferred to Batman's votes. 9 of the 19 people then chose Robin as their second preference, so those votes get transferred to Robin. None of the people that voted for Joker actually wanted the Penguin to win as their second choice, so no votes get transferred to Penguin. Now again, nobody's got more than half the votes, so then the person with the least number of votes, in this case the Penguin, now gets eliminated, and for the people that voted for Penguin, they now get the chance to have their votes transferred to one of the people remaining in the election. In this case, because all the people that voted for Penguin really were quite evil and didn't really care ultimately whether Batman or Robin got elected if Penguin didn't, then they didn't actually express a second preference, so their votes are discarded. So that ends up with 37 votes for Batman, 35 for Robin, and Batman has more than 50%, so Batman gets elected. Under the old system, it's actually quite easy to cheat, whereas under the new system, it's almost impossible to cheat. Now, this might all seem really, really far-fetched, and people posing as other candidates and things like that, but it actually happens. Just in areas near me, I've seen candidates stand under a party name of the Literal Democrats, standing against a Lib Dem candidate to try and dilute that vote. I've also seen people standing as New Labour candidates against a Labour candidate. I think I've also heard of a case where somebody stood under the Tory party against somebody that was a Conservative Party candidate. It happens all the time, more than people realise. Just to finish off, I'd like to just talk about some of the objections that people have to the new voting system and why they say they prefer the old system. First thing a lot of people say is that the new system's too complicated. Well, all you really need to be able to do is count to 5, express your preference for people in the order that you prefer them, until you can't express that preference anymore. And I think hopefully I've just explained it all in a way that I would think that most 12-year-olds would be able to understand it, and you need to be 18 to vote, so I don't think it's too complicated. The second reason people object to it is that they say it will cost between 100 and 200 million pounds for electronic vote counting machines to count all the votes. But we don't need electronic vote counting machines. We actually already use the exact same system for European Parliament elections, and we don't use electronic vote counting machines for that. They're counted by hand just the same as in the old system. The third objection that people have, particularly MPs and politicians, are saying that the new system's not fair. Hopefully I've just shown you that it is actually fairer than the old system. You might be surprised to know that whilst it's actually used already for our European elections and for electing members of Scottish Parliament, MPs use it for their own internal party elections. It's already used internally by the Liberal Democrat Party, the Labour Party and the Conservatives. So it's quite obvious really that all of the political leaders actually know that it's fairer because they all choose to use it for their own systems. Please, please take the 10 or 15 minutes it takes to go to your polling station on Thursday, 5th of May, and vote yes to change the voting system forever. And it will stop people like the Penguin and the Joker from getting elected. If you thought this video was useful, please like it or share it on Facebook or email it to your friends, because if people don't understand what it's all about, then there's no chance that the voting system will change.